I am getting the impression that I am probably the only one of the few people that loves candy corn because like my friend posted a meme talking about how gross they were and how there was the bad stuff that's in them, and now my mom when I almost bought like I was gonna have her buy one of those big bags, um, and she said they were not good for my teeth. Reminded me they weren't good for my teeth. And I guess now parents are saying they don't want their kids to have them. So because of that, for that very reason, and I probably won't even be able to finish this whole bag because I'm sure we'll eat dinner in a few hours, and I do want to be hungry for dinner. But I mean, I love candy corn. So that was just me rambling, explaining why I have this bag of candy corn. It's an excuse to eat it. So first, I wanted to show you the books I got from the library. Today because I had 2 books to take back today, but I actually didn't finish those books because they're big books. So I didn't want to have to keep checking out. So finally, I decided to actually buy those 2 books from Books A Million, which I will show you in a little bit. But of course, I can't not get a book from the library. Unfortunately, I went a little crazy and got like 4 I think, 4 or 5. Okay, so I'll show you those first, and I'll show you the ones I actually bought. Okay, so the first book I have here is I have been curious about this book for a while, and I've also been curious about the author's other book, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. I'm not a huge fan of contemporary. I rarely do read it, but sometimes there are some books that have interesting premises that, like when booktubers talk about them. And this one is, from what I've heard, it's basically about this girl who her and her sister, they were adopted. She's a bit on the, thicker side. I think she's like fat, to put it bluntly. And of course that's kind of mean, but this is also just a book. So, and she has 2 gay moms. Her sister is, bisexual. She's had a lot of crushes in her life, but she's never really told any. She's never talked to her crushes before and told them that she liked them. And then I'm guessing and I think that of course, some guy does come into, I think 2 guys actually, I think, come into her life that could be potential boyfriends for her. So, why? I mean, I will admit it is true that there are a lot of booktubers who read YA, but what kind of bugs me about that is not that a lot of booktubers read YA, but it's people that are constantly complaining about it. I was trying to get this one guy, he's an acquaintance that I have on Facebook. I've never met him in person. I'm in a group that he runs, and he's in the group that I run on books. And he decided to make videos. I mean, I like to think my little arrogant, proud self likes to think that maybe I was the one who kind of got him into it, because I kept, for the longest time when I started my book group, I was constantly posting videos, the videos on here, not mine, but the other booktubers' videos. And of course, I kind of stopped because I asked one of my friends made a suggestion for me on how to run the group, and she said not everybody is interested in watching those booktube videos, and they don't have time, and they can get pretty long. Mine get pretty long because I randomly talk so much. So this was one of the books. So I encouraged him to go on to start making booktube videos and publish some videos on there, and he told me no, he wasn't interested, and I thought maybe it was because he was shy and insecure and stuff, but he actually said it was because booktube it seems like you have to be a YA reader, and on BookTube, and he says he reads some YA, like Harry Potter and stuff, but he doesn't read a lot. So that really, I didn't want to bug him because he was just an acquaintance of mine, and with acquaintances, I'm a little more careful. Like, if it's a good friend, like a best friend, then yeah, I might be more pushy, because I know they'll deal with me, unless they actually tell me and get on my case about, and tell me that I'm bothering them. I will push my friends. So that kind of really bugged me, that he was like, oh, I won't be on BookTube because I don't read YA, and it looks like on BookTube you have to read YA. That just really, and I just didn't want to say anything to him, but I mean, thinking about it now, I wish I had said something, but then it might end up in just an argument. But there are a handful of booktubers I watch that aren't YA readers at all, or only read a little bit of YA. And I've seen a couple of videos where people are saying how, giving you advice on how to booktube, and that you shouldn't let anything stop you from doing this. Because, I mean, my booktube is, my booktube videos might not even be the most exciting ever, and they might be bored with them, but I still really have fun, and I love talking to myself. I talk to myself a lot. So this is fun for me, and, they've said that just because there are a lot of YA readers on here, and YA is popular, and there are a lot of reasons not to like YA, because it does get repetitious, and there's other, like, a lot of those tropes that people don't like are common in YA. So, but it just bugged me that he wouldn't even give it a chance because he thinks that you have to read YA to be on BookTube. Which is not true, but again, because he's kind of a new friend, I didn't want to push it. So anyway, long story short, I do read some YA. I normally don't read contemporary, but the premise of this one sounds kind of interesting and relatable because I am a very insecure, shy person. Of course, most of my crushes are a lot of times actors that I have no access to whatsoever. But there are guys that I've gone to school with that I thought were kind of cute. And there was one time where this guy that I did theater with, I approached him and told him I was interested. I rehearsed what I was going to say and everything, and it was this long-winded speech. And then he just said, and he was very nice and sweet about it. He was like, I feel like we're not close enough. We don't know each other that well. We don't know each other that long, and so I feel like it's better if we just remain friends. And I was still devastated and cried and everything, and all my teachers and all the teachers that run the drama department were trying to talk and make me feel better and everything. And I was kind of embarrassed afterwards, but I remember talking to him a couple years later at college, because we both went to the same community college. And we worked it out. I was like, no hard feelings, and I told him I was okay now, Yeah, I was devastated at the time, but I moved on, and I think he was right. So anyway, so there was that one, and I was also looking for some spooky Halloween type reads. Oh, dang it. It's a good thing I didn't start that book, because I just pulled the bookmark out. This is Miss Houdini. Obviously, it's about the wife of Houdini. And he's already died, and she receives, like, messages from him from beyond the grave. Or at least it seems like that's what she's receiving. So I think that's what she's trying to interpret and figure out his messages, what they mean. So I got, and that's just from reading the summary. So I figured, magic, I feel like this kind of magic, illusion magic, is perfect for Halloween, and there's a little mystery, and it's about his ghost contacting her, so I figured that would be a good Halloween-y type read. Okay, so next. Okay, I have said, I pride myself on this, that I'm not big into the whole judging a book by its cover, but that would be lying, because sometimes I do judge books by their covers, and I do like nice book covers that are pretty, like some of those, the ones that are made for the classics, like those hardback ones with the little designs of flowers, and like I have a bunch of the Barnes & Noble, those big hardback ones, I'm thinking about doing a video where I show all those off. But I like this cover. I like it. I like the look of this book in this cover. It's and I like the writing style that they use for like the medieval kind of inspired writing. So from what I read on the back, there's like the family of hangmans. They come to this town, and there's apparently a legend of a werewolf. Like all these people are getting killed, and like the brother of the family, he doesn't believe that there's a werewolf, but then he starts learning the secrets of this town. So he starts to think either there's something worse or there really is a werewolf. So I figured werewolf, kind of like the Wolfman type story. I figured another great Halloween read. Although I don't know, this might go beyond Halloween. But still, I have not read a lot of werewolf books. I prefer when I did the spooky would you rather tag, and I said werewolf over vampire. And I have not read a lot of werewolf books, so I definitely need to get up on that. Starting with this one. And the author has I think it's like one of those companion series with a bunch of tales about this family. Hangman's Daughter tale. I'm guessing the guy is like German or Swedish or something, the author. It's Oliver Potshurts. Something. I think he's it looks like a German or Austrian name or something. Okay, so the last one, I was trying to stick to 2 or 3 books, but, I saw this one. I remember, this is another one they talked on BookTube, and again, another YA read. I think, from what I remember hearing, someone was recommending this book, and they said it was based on an adult novel, is the YA version, and that it also is based on, a historical figure, and they gave the historical figure, not the girl, not the daughter, but the guy I think it's, Dr. Moreau. I think it's based on the Dr. Moreau novel by, it's one of those classic authors, like H.G. Wells, or someone. And they said that this is supposed to be like a YA version of his story with the added addition of he has a daughter. I wanted to get, and Then There Were None, Agatha Christie's Then There Were None, but they did not have it. So I was a little disappointed about that. I was going to get another Agatha Christie, but I will wait until maybe I'll look next time and get one of her other books, because I definitely want to read more of her books. So those are the books I got from the library. This is the bookmark I used for the werewolf story. It's actual wolf. It's one of those ones that I think it's one of the ones that it's one of the ones that moves. You probably can't really even tell on the camera. Okay, next. The rest of these books are books I bought. I'm gonna have me a candy corn. This is kind of sticky. They also have ones that are like Halloween colors. So I'll show these first. So I mentioned these guys before, but I have 2 nephews, Harrison and Daniel, my sister's little boys. And thankfully, Harrison loves reading, which makes me very happy. He's 2, so I have to be selective when I get him books, but I am spoiling that kid with books. And I'm going to make a list of all the classic kids books that I want to get him to read in the future. Like I saw Where the Wild Things Are, the Tale of Stinky Cheese and Other Fairy Tales. Books like that. I want to get those for him one day when he's old enough. But I'm going to wait. So I stuck with these little small hardback ones. First, every kid has to be introduced to this. This is the original, the night before Christmas, which I just realized there are some verses in here that I did not know. me see if I can find some verses. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday objects below. That's one I didn't know. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and chatted, and called them by name. That's one I didn't know. The other one, the little verse before that, I kind of didn't know that well either. But, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. Alright, well, I'm not gonna waste my time with that because I'm already wasting time as it is. So yes, I had to get this because it was bargain price. And, I feel like Harrison and Daniel need to know this story. This is one of the kids' classics. And I'm gonna make sure that they grow up with the classics. And actually, I set aside my copy of Peter Pan. That I'm gonna give to them when they're a little bit older because it's, a nice chapter book. Nice fancy classic. I'll give that to them when they're a little older. Now this I got yesterday because my parents were out of town this weekend. Unfortunately I don't drive, so I had to call my neighbor. I had to ask our friends, good friends / neighbors, former neighbors. They're not neighbors anymore, but they also moved down here too because they had 3 daughters. It's an elderly couple, and she already lives down here. So her mom wanted to be close to her. She could spend time with her grandkids, so she moved down here as well and offered to take me to work because I had to go to work a couple times. And I was kind of getting cabin fever, and I kind of mentioned while I was in the car with her that I wish I could go to Books A Million, and so she's the type of person that, she will do anything for anybody. So, unfortunately, I should have known that she would say something, that she would offer to take me, and it was kind of hard, and it would be very hard to say no. So, she took me there. I kind of binged. Normally, I don't get more than 3 books, but I did get 4 because I was using, because I started work, finally, and decided to indulge a little bit. And this is one of the purchases. The First Thanksgiving. First of all, I like this book because it teaches you about Thanksgiving, the exchange between the Pilgrims and the Indians, or the Native Americans, technically, politically, if you want to be politically correct. And this also it's one of these books with the little flip. It's where there's a little surprise inside, when you flip it, a little surprise. Now, I love these books. Harrison and Daniel have a whole bunch of these. So, I had to get this one. And then, okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I saw it once before, when I went with my sister, we were getting our cousin's little girl some books. For her birthday. I think it was like her 2nd or 3rd birthday. Well, maybe a little bit older than that. We saw these, all the classics written in kid form. Like, Pride and Prejudice, Jane Eyre, and they actually had Wuthering Heights and Dracula at this. Although with Dracula, you could potentially turn it into kid friendly, make Dracula a little more friendly. Of course, he does some horrible things. But and I'm guessing they wouldn't have the part where Jonathan Harker or Van Helsing, Jonathan Harker gets eaten by the zombie, or almost gets bitten by all the vampire girls. I guess they won't have that part in the kids' version. But I saw this and had to get it because I had to memorize this poem in my high school. One of my high school theater drama classes. We had to memorize and I had to recite this poem in kind of a like a performance type way. So now I still have it memorized, but I mean, it's kind of hard not to memorize um, Lewis Carroll's The Jabberwocky or anything in the Alice in Wonderland. Now I thought about for a second getting the Alice in Wonderland version one, but decided I'll just stick with one for now. I got this one, The Jabberwocky Poem. I wish they had a bigger one, but then maybe that might have been a little bit more expensive because I think this was like 10 bucks. So this is basically a kid's version of, the whole Jabberwocky story, but like little kids, like kids that are just learning to read. They're not just learning to read, but they're starting to read a little bit more than picture books and stuff. These lovely illustrations. And it's basically reciting the poem, and I had to get it. So those are the kids' books I got for my nephews. Now on to the books I purchased for myself. Okay, so this one was at Walmart. They had a bin where they had a bunch of books for like $5.97, $5, $6. So it's kind of cheap. I actually got that along with a Nightmare Before Christmas T-shirt. One of the ones with it's the T-shirt, but there's like sleeves, like another shirt is under it attached. So I got that one too, and I will wear that at some point this month. I'll wear it soon, or maybe on Halloween day. I mean, I have two. Actually, I have two. I have a black one that's just a regular sleep shirt that has the boogeyman on it, Mr. Oogie Boogie, and then I have that one, so the one I just bought. But I got this, and actually I was watching a video recently on BookTube where they talked about they bought some of this author Stephen Donaldson's books. This is two novellas. King's Justice. It's like this mysterious guy who, I'm guessing he works for the king, shows up in this village. And he fights like the monsters, I guess. Or at least that's the first one. I actually didn't read the second story, but it looked kind of fun. It looked kind of, and I wanted to, instead of going historical fiction, because there were at least two books that were more historical fiction that I thought about getting, but I decided to go ahead and get this one. I'm also trying to expand my reading, my fantasy horizons. I've been trying to do that for a while. Okay, so next, let's see. Let me go ahead and show this one. I don't know, I wasn't entirely sure if I did this book haul for this one, but I finally got Heartless. Again, this was also a Walmart purchase. This was bought, last month, I want to say, like around the time of the hurricane in Florida. I have family in Florida, and they came to stay with us, and we made a quick trip to Walmart. And then I saw this, which, Walmart's pretty decent prices for hardbacks. Because if I was shopping at Band for a hardback, it would be like $20, which isn't terrible, but for me, someone who for the longest time has not worked, it's kind of expensive. I got this. I kind of wish I had the other one that came in the book box, but I know that only comes with that box, and I don't think my mom would want me to subscribe to that, at least not now. I mean, now maybe if I asked her, of course she would give me that whole it's up to me, but I mean, she wouldn't say this, but I could tell from her tone that she would be thinking, well, it's up to you, it's your money, but I personally don't approve. I don't think it's necessary. That kind of tone. So I got Heartless, and I'm very excited to read it, but I am procrastinating it because I have so many books I've had for the longest time that I've not gotten around to. Like Lord of the Rings, which I don't know if that will ever happen. But who knows? Okay, I have to... Okay, sorry, I had to move them so they were a little closer. Okay, so I wasn't sure if I talked about this one yet. I couldn't remember if I mentioned this in a book, if I did a book haul. I don't do book hauls that often, because then they end up taking real long because I ramble. I mean, this is going to be a long one, so hopefully I won't have to film this, and what I say right now won't matter. But I don't remember when I got this. Like I said, I don't remember if I ever talked about this book, but it's Stars Above, which is the collection of novellas or short stories. I don't know which, but I do plan to read it next month because, I know that it's nonfiction November, and I am going to read a couple nonfictions. But I also decided to do Novella November, where I read novellas. That also include short stories, because I don't know if some of the ones that I would think are novellas, maybe they're not, maybe they're just short stories, like this one. But I have been waiting a long time. I remember falling in love with the Lunar Chronicles. I love that story. Cress is my favorite story, and she's my favorite character, and Thorn is my favorite love interest. And the two of them are just so adorable together. I just love them. And then Wolf and Scarlet are my second favorite. So this is the stories, and I know there's a wedding in one of these. One of these has a wedding storyline, so part of me kind of hopes, I don't want to be spoiled, but part of me hopes it's Cress and Thorn getting married. I think I did hear, though, now I don't know if this means that it's them or not, but I did hear that it's someone that you wouldn't expect to get married. Like, you were kind of surprised. And I don't see Thorn being the type to tie himself down, even though he's, like, in love with Cress and everything. But maybe, that's my first thought would be that, but maybe I'll get a pleasant surprise and they might be the couple that will get married. I really hope so, because I love them. They are my favorite couple. Of course, watch it be like Scarlet or Wolf, which my second favorite, or Kai and but Cinder. I like them enough, but I just wasn't a huge fan of Kai and Cinder. I mean, I like them and everything, because, but so I got this one a few, earlier this year, I believe. And then, let's see, what else? So that's two Marissa Meyer books. I'm debating if I want to read the graphic novel about Aiko. I don't know, because I've heard some stuff about it, and the problem is now that I'm watching BookTube, when I hear negative things, then I'm tempted. Part of me is like, should I waste my money and just maybe I shouldn't, or at least see if it's at the bookstore, at the library, or I'll get it for like a really, really cheap price. Which is actually what happened with this one. My sister's library, she took Harrison there because I guess they started to utilize their own library. It's much bigger than the one here, but it's a little bit, I think it's smaller than the one I had in my old hometown, but it's bigger than the one I have in this new hometown that I have. So, they had a library sale, and they had this one for 53 cents. This is, the Talisman, which this is one he wrote with Peter Straub. So I definitely want to read that soon. From what I read on the back, it's really more of a blurb. Well, since it's just a blurb, I'll just read it. You are about to take a journey. A terrifying trip across a nightmare America filled with monsters beyond anything you ever imagined before. A journey into the dark heart of horror. Two of the world's best-selling authors team up in this ultimate masterpiece of spine-tingling terror. The most compelling, most talked about, most frightening book of the decade. So I figure. See? So that's a way you make, I think that's a way you can make reading the back summary or the description more interesting. It's just put emotion into it. I mean, I don't even know. People probably were rolling, the people that watch this will probably roll their eyes. But come on, it's fun. It's fun to really put dramatic emotion into when you're reading the backs. Just make it more interesting so people won't be bored. So I'm slowly expanding. I have another Stephen King collection I bought. Another book, Stephen King book that I just bought yesterday as well. Okay, so next. This was a nice little find because I got this one just like the Talisman. I got this one not in a library sale, but at our little bookshop, used bookstore. As I've said before, the most expensive book is $5. And that's usually the hardbacks, or coffee table books, stuff like that. So luckily, I found this, an used copy of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which this was on my Christmas list, but I did take it off because I bought it. So this was only a couple months ago. I'm sure you all have an idea of what this is about. It's like these two competing magicians, or something like that. Or no, they're not competing, but they become friends, and one gets mixed up in something he shouldn't, or something like that. And that's from reading the back. This was like I think like $3 or $4. So that was awesome. So it wasn't 53 cents, but it was still a pretty good price because it would be like 13, at Books A Million. So I had to make up this one. It was the only copy there that I saw, so I was very happy. I jumped right on it. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so now here are the books I got yesterday. Okay, so I mentioned earlier in this video that there were some library books that I got from the library that I was thinking about reading, and my mom had suggested, well, why don't you see if the library has them? And at first I was against the idea for the very reason that why I did what I did, what I'm about to tell you guys now. So finally, it was taking me a long time to read, and I had other books from my own personal library that I wanted to read. So finally, I decided to. I'd seen these at Books A Million before, and I finally was like, what, screw it. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. Because plus I didn't want to return them until I finished them, or at least I had them in my possession. So then, I would be able to finish them at some point soon. And those books are John Steinbeck's East of Eden, which is, I just noticed actually that this is the second book that I have, the second classic that I have in the Penguin Classics edition. Because the other one is North and South. Not the Jonathan Jakes novel, but the North and South, the BBC, the British one about, the whole Industrial Revolution in England, and how this woman from south of England comes to I guess it's the sun. Sorry. Moves to a little northern city of England, and starting the time of the Industrial Revolution. So Elizabeth Gaskell's version of Mr. Darcy is a manager of a cotton making company. So anyway, it's like Pride and Prejudice essentially. And so I have that one in the Penguin edition, and I also have this one now in the Penguin edition. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I've been wanting to read this for a while, but like I said, I didn't want to, return to the library until I knew sure I was going to have it soon, and I am not a very patient person. So especially since I've already read some of it as it is, and I didn't want to have to reread it. So so this is as far as I got when I brought it from the library, up to chapter 10. I'm using my Game of Thrones bookmark that I got last year from my sister. And the other one was The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And I'm sure I will probably get the other book that she read, The Goldfinch. Probably get that one at some point. I mean, I know, like, I just watched a video recently where she was saying that most people, that you either like The Goldfinch or you like this one. Well, I will probably be one of the few people that likes both. I am not that hard to please. I mean, I have my things that I won't, I have lines that I won't cross, and things I don't like, but most of the time, I'm pretty easy to please. So, and like with that one, I already started reading this. So I got to chapter 4. So and these are also smaller. They're smaller because that's the thing about the paperback editions of books. They're smaller than the hardback and not as heavy. I mean, they're still kind of heavy, but and you could still probably use it to knock someone out. But more so the hardback. Okay, the last book that I got yesterday was this one. Because at first I was going to get one of the books in one of the YA series that I'm reading. Either A Conjuring of Light, The Raven King, or there's another one. Well, Tower of Dawn I definitely want to read, but I'm going to wait until that one's going to stay on my Christmas. I'm not going to get that one. I'm just going to ask for that one for Christmas. I decided to get this instead of those ones, either of those, because those ones might still be in hardback, and hardback is like $20 at Books A Million, which, like I said, for someone like me who just started working, that's a kind of a lot of money. So although this isn't cheap either, but it's like $16. But like I said, I kind of indulged yesterday. I got The Shining. I've seen a little bit of the Stanley Kubrick movie. And I'm obsessed with the word red rum. I like to be creepy and write that word out and say it and stuff. Red rum. I also, one time when I was being weird, I didn't use red rum, but I didn't feel like sitting with my best friends at the time because I was kind of annoyed by them, but I decided to be weird and creepy to them, and on a piece of paper, I drew some eyes, said, "I'm watching you," and it freaked my friend out. So that was kind of bitchy of me, but I was being weird and rebellious, and I was kind of annoyed with them because we were starting to become distant with each other. I was going my way and they were going theirs, and I was kind of mad because the three of them were still really close, but I felt like all of a sudden I was drifting apart from them. I don't know if it was just me and my imagination or what, but so I was kind of being like very, very mean and weird. So basically, I guess I don't really have to explain what this one is about. It's like this guy comes to this isolated hotel with his family, and then he ends up going crazy. The hotel's like really haunted, and he sees him and his son who has this gift, see all these ghosts, and the ghost guy, and he basically goes really crazy. And the good news about these ones is that it's big print, which is awesome. it's big print, and it's only 600 pages, like more than 600, but still 600. So that's really awesome about this size. Most of my Stephen King books are like the small mass paperback ones, so the print is super small and it's a really thick book, but it's small enough to fit in my purse. And those mass paperback ones are a little cheaper than the ones like this. But I think now that I've joined BookTube, and plus the fact that this was the only one that I saw at the time there, I was willing to get it anyway. Okay, so those are the 3 books. One more, promise only the last one, along with the 3 children's books. The 2 children's books. I also got this for a bargain price. This was $6.97. I also have the other 3 books in the trilogy. This is the Century trilogy. So I have Fall of Giants, Winter of the World, or something like that, the second one, and now I have the 3rd one. And the good news is the same edition. Same size, same look, just a different picture and different title, the same print. So I was happy about that, and that it was $6.97, a bargain price, which was nice. And it was the only one there. They do have a bargain. They have the bargain price of the hardback ones. That it was like $7.99. But I kept this one because it was a little cheaper, and it's the same, like everything is the same. The physical aspects are the same. But I also have his other series. I can't remember what it's called, but the first one is The Pillars of the Earth. And then A World Without End. And then I think the next book in that series is the one that just came out, The Column. The Fire Column, or Column of Fire, or something like that. But I guess I wonder if George R. R. Martin is going to be, he's. I mean, people give him a hard time, but I mean, I think there are quite a few years. I don't know when the other 2 came out, but it's been quite. I feel like even though now I just started reading this series, but I haven't even read these books. The premises of his book sounded really interesting, because I do love historical fiction. He said, I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but there's been lots of time in between his books. So, I mean, compared to George R. R. Martin, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I would have to ask one of my friends, like my friend Kathy or someone. I'm getting kind of tired now. I mean, I was tired before, and it does not help that I had some candy corn, because I think sugar makes me even more tired. Sugar and caffeine. Like, caffeine, or, like, sugar combined with caffeine in, like, sodas. For some reason, I think that makes me more tired. Like, caffeine by itself, like in coffee, although, I don't know, well, no, because I don't put sugar in my coffee anymore. I mean, I still will do, but when I'm at home, I don't. But when I eat regular sugar, then I feel like it kind of makes me even more tired than I already am. Plus, I went to, I try to go to bed at the same time every night, but, it's still kind of late. It's midnight, usually. And sometimes I just get caught up in watching BookTube and YouTube videos, so I'm not paying attention. Anyway, okay, so I am done rambling and talking about the books I have recently acquired. I hope you guys weren't too bored with this video. I just felt like doing this and sharing the books I bought. Although there are some books that I have here that I think I covered them all the books that I bought recently. There was one. Oh, wait, no, I did cover that one. Phantom book. That was part of I think I did a haul of all the 5 books that I got for, like, there was a deal. You get 5 books for $5. So that's, right. gonna shut up now. Like I said, I hope you guys aren't too bored and you found my video interesting. I just want to share what books I bought recently and borrowed. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.